Okay, good evening everybody. It is 1:29 a.m. where I'm at currently. And if it happens to be 1:29 a.m. where you are, technically good morning. But to all else, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you may be. I'm glad you've tuned in to listen. But before anything, I meant to make and upload this video exactly a week after the last one I uploaded. And if you happen to hear any sounds in the back, that is my cat Houdini. Right, so I'm sorry, I meant to upload, but life recently handed me a few lemons and I had to look for a recipe book on making lemonade. Life had briefly stepped between me and this little YouTube hobby, so I hope you can understand. We've all had those days. This doesn't mean the productions of these videos will cease, since I do intend on steadily creating and uploading these videos. And, again, I'm doing this because it relaxes me when I write and edit my dreams, when I record it, and just knowing that somewhere out there, someone might be listening. It's like casting a message in a bottle out to the sea, and the wonder of who might be reading, or in this case, listening, is exciting. I like that. So, anyway, I titled this dream A Trip to Ancient Greece because the main setting takes place in ancient Greece. Around the time I had this dream, I was obsessing over anything that had to do with ancient Greece and ancient Rome. So badly I wanted to go back in time and just experience what life was like. So I was brushing up on the culture and society, from the good to the bad. But let's cut to the chase and avoid unnecessarily prolonging the intro. I sincerely hope that you enjoy. As I was falling asleep, images of the ruins of ancient Greece emerged from the void where all of my phantasmagoric images unravel from. I sensed that I was not alone. I was with my close friend, whom I shall call Iris. I heard my voice inviting Iris to come along with me. Let's take a trip to ancient Greece, dude. The ancient Greek scene became more defined, detailed. It became textured. The phantasmagoria was fully enveloping me. I felt like I was actually there. It was daytime, and there was a silent montage of my friend and I exploring the ancientness of Greece. We explored the architecture from the stone houses to the awe-inspiring marble temples. We explored all day until the last rays of the sun withered and went under. The cool curtain of night had now fallen, and the sky was peppered with twinkling stars. Once the montage was over, we found ourselves in a warm, stuffy room. It has stone walls. At the center of the room were two sweating, burly men battling each other with strange objects in each hand. The object looked like a pendulum on a wooden stick. They were on a platform that resembled a wrestling ring. I'm not sure if Iris was bored or angry, but she got up to leave. I stayed behind to watch the two brutes go at it with each other. They cobbled each other good with these strange weapons. I hollered wildly, screaming and shouting encouragement. My lips were moist with spittle, an inhuman rage in my eyes. Jumping up and down like some kind of insane chimp on a sugar high, I became sucked up in the crowd's barbaric fervor. I indulged. I could feel a great savage energy in the humid, dimly lit room. We were witnessing crude violence. I indulged in this feeling. We were something lesser than animals that night. After my thirst for brutality was quenched, I calmly and primly stepped out into the cool ancient night. Apollo took hold of the reins of my mind, and I started to think clearly about going back home. It was dark, but as I walked down the hard-packed dirt road, a twinkling caught my eye. A twinkling that seemed out of place. Out in the distance, about 3 miles from where I stood, I could see a shimmering grid of city lights. The location I was in was far and high above the city, so the lights looked miniature. I paused to absorb the tranquility of night. A faint, sweet fragrance lingered in the air. I was cool, calm, and collected. It felt like my mind had ascended into a higher cognitive state. Only moments before, I was swept up into the uncouth frenzy of a crowd. And now, I stood here alone, contemplating beauty on a quiet and empty road in a night in ancient Greece. I passed countless stone houses on my way to look for Iris. I slowed my brisk walk to a stroll and paused in front of a house. It was a house like any of the other ones I saw, but there was something different about this one. There was an aura to it. Now it's being beckoned. I just stopped to stare at it. A man opened the rickety wooden door of his house, and a warm, orangey yellow light spilled out into the dark blue night. I stood in between those two colors, wondering if I should enter. The man looked like he belonged to this world. He wore those ancient Greek sandals, and a simple beige tunic with a rope around his waist to use as a belt. He was an older man, somewhere in his 40s. He looked welcoming and exuded friendliness and warmth. His face had the look of an honest man. Don't ask me to describe that look, he just had it. Diogenes would have gotten a kick out of this guy. He invited me into his home, and I stepped in. His home was small and simple. Nothing fancy about it. He just had what he needed to live. He had the bare essentials. The walls looked like clay, a reddish-brown color. "Terracotta," said he, with a friendly smile on his face. There was a simple, bare electric light bulb overhead, being suspended by a brown cord. There was a plain brown couch in the middle of the room, and on the couch there was a stringed instrument. There was an Azerbaijani rug on the hard-packed dirt floor, and a plain brown four-legged coffee table in front of the couch, which was placed on top of the rug. The man that led me in was playing some kind of mind game with me. His mental agility, rich vocabulary, and clever wit impressed me. He had a dark sense of humor, just the type I like. There was some kind of mental tug-of-war going on between us, some kind of battle of wits. I can't exactly pinpoint what was going on in our heads, but after some time, I felt like it was time I needed to go. After all, I didn't want to wear out my welcome. I thanked him, and he said no problem, anytime. He pulled out a wooden puzzle from his pocket, examined it, and began trying to solve it. I opened the rickety, flimsy wooden door and stepped out into the night again. I felt mentally invigorated and clear-headed. I felt soothed. The door closed behind me, and I was standing in the night. Was that Apollo? I just wondered in amusement. I yelled out Iris's name, and she yelled back my name to my relief. She was sitting on a wooden bench right around the corner of the block. I followed her voice as I ran, and there she was, simply existing and existing simply under the pearly eastern moon. I worried that she had left. She was my companion here, and I felt bad that I stayed behind to watch the fight. The scene changed, and I was now walking alone, on the ancient dirt road, thinking I was headed towards the airport. And as I walked with my hands in my pockets, a modern American two-floored home appeared in front of me like a mirage. It looked like a nice home. A nice home one would see in a suburban tree-lined neighborhood. There was a party going on inside. It was crowded with college-aged people and teenagers. There was a Greek sorority fraternity party going on. I wandered inside. A few people paused their conversations to look at me. They seemed unimpressed with my existence. Some even looked bothered and slightly disgusted with me. I felt unwelcome, but I continued walking. I passed the white picket fence and small patch of lawn and in through the side door. The house was dimly lit for a sensuous mood. The walls were hunter green and the borders were cherry wood. It was some kind of modern house, but with a touch of 90s tackiness. The atmosphere was relaxed and very laid back. Some people lounged on an antique velvet burgundy sofa at the far end of the living room, in the shadows, sipping on red wine. I could really dig this vibe. I was being tempted by Dionysus, but Apollo tugged at my reins. I had to go. I had no time for such temptations, though perhaps later I can indulge in wine and music. The host of the party was a white male, about the age of 16 or 17. He reached into an open cooler and handed me a Simpsons-themed water bottle. It was a rectangular-shaped bottle. It was an opaque light blue color, and it had those white caps you clicked open to drink out of. Iris approached me, and he handed her a Simpsons soda can. Her can had a more interesting design than mine. The entire can was covered in 3D Simpsons characters. The colors were so vibrant and it stood out in the darkness of the room. It almost glowed. I was so transfixed by the colors of the can that I hadn't even realized that the scene had changed, and I was actually walking outside. She was walking beside me. We were going down a metal ramp of a bungalow. I looked around. It was mid-afternoon. I looked back to my bottle, and now it looked so dirty, as it had been kicked out on a rough dirt floor. The water inside was almost gone. I looked at it as a whole. It looked so lame. My eyes traveled back to her Simpsons can. It was full and unopened. We were headed back home. I closed my eyes. I opened them. Now I'm near a street by my house. I was behind the Greek restaurant. It's sunny and the sky is a happy blue. There is a cathedral in the middle of the street. Weird. The houses around are made of some kind of bright white clay. They're connected together and they have blue domes and they're on a beautiful ocean shore. At the intersection, there was a white gazebo made of heavy ceramic. It was covered in grapevines. Inside the gazebo were two heavy white ceramic chairs and a table of the same material and color. It had filigree designs. About 20 feet, the opposite direction from where I was standing, there were garden boxes that must have been 10 feet in length, 5 feet in width, and about 2 feet of depth. They were placed at the very center of the street where cars are supposed to pass. The boxes were filled with loose, moist soil and contained an interesting variety of plants. Colorful foxgloves, yellow daffodils, purple passion flowers, and forget-me-nots. A portly girl appeared in front of me. She too was admiring the beauty of the flowers. I idly chatted with her about things I can't even remember now. Our conversation finished, and I started to walk away when I heard a voice call out my name. It was an old friend I used to know back in middle school. He shouted, "Hey, look! There's a rattlesnake. Come look, it's real." He teleports the image of the rattlesnake to my mind, and I exclaim, "No way. No way that can be real, dude. It's probably just a garden hose." I blink and teleport over to where he's standing. He's pointing at something in the garden box. Its size and proportions shrink and grow and distort as I stare at it. My friend reaches for it, but I warn him against it. He grabs the neck of the snake and whips the snake's body like a lasso. There was a snap. The snake is dead. Everything fades to black, and I wake up to sunlight in my eyes. Alright. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope you made it all the way through, and you're here now listening to this outro monologue. This dream was one of those dreams that were just so incredibly vivid, and I chose this one because it was one of my longer dreams, and they usually make for a nice longer video, and I like making longer videos for anyone that likes to sit back and relax and listen to this, whether they're on a long transportation ride, or if they looked up, dream stuff before bed. Because I do that. I listen to podcasts before I go to sleep sometimes. Maybe you're listening to this while you're laying there in your comfy bed. Or maybe you feel like having pseudo company. It's nighttime, and I'm usually kind of chit-chatty around this time. And since everyone is in bed and I am up, what I usually do is I read a book or scribble some midnight thoughts into a little notebook. I do consider myself a night owl. The right time is the nighttime. The nighttime is the right time. I feel kind of like a late night radio talk show host. And it's too bad I can't play music. YouTube will tear down my video. But if I could play music, I'd play. First and foremost, I would start by playing the Doors. And then everything else. I'd throw in a little classical music. A little, what's that called? Muzak. I'd probably play Muzak. If you don't know what Muzak is, it's a elevator music. I'd play some good jazz, big band. Let's see. I would play Tom Waits in honor of this hour. I'd play so many artists in honor of this hour. Alice in Chains, back when Lane Staley was a singer. And I was listening to some Alice in Chains earlier. And that guy had such a voice. It had depth, power, feeling, and soul. And it's a shame that he left. He left us too early, but... And I'd play the Cranberries, too. I would play the Cranberries. And if you're wondering about my music taste, if you happen to wonder, most of my favorite artists are dead. It's true. I do like contemporary music artists, but more than half the time I'm listening to the music of the deceased. This is the same with the books I read, the movies I watch, even though I don't watch many movies. I'm not a huge movie goer. And most things in general. All those who I admire are long gone. But you know what else is gone? The night. It is 2:16 a.m. and it is time I get to bed now, lest I ruin my sleep schedule and wreak havoc on my health. Well, it's night. And I would like to wish you folks farewell. Not forever. I will be back. But I genuinely hope that you've enjoyed this reading monologue episode. And I hope you have a wonderful remainder of the day or night. And I would like to wish you sweet dreams.